especially given what the decision-making processes they're going to have to go through this offseason are, the future of Jamar Chase, the future of T. Higgins, how are you going to rebuild and retool this defense with a new defensive coordinator, and also literally it feels like anything would be up for grabs. They don't have a lot of wiggle room with cap space based on what they're going to have to do with Trey Hendrickson as well on the defensive side. Like, they are the clearly, to me, most intriguing offseason team in the NFL because what they do this year could shape the way we talk about the most competitive conference over the next 5 to 6 seasons if they get it right. Or it will relegate them back to being the same old Bengals. Same old Bengals. I know, I see them from a mile away. That ain't Joe Burrow. That's Andy Dalton. That ain't Joey B. That ain't Cool Joe. That's Carson Palmer. This is the offseason where they're going to get to dictate and decide what that's actually going to look like. And if they make the wrong moves, I want to see it. If they make the right moves, I would love to see it as well. This is the obvious Hard Knocks team. But again, Joe Shane, New York Giants, you completely ruined it for everybody, for all of us. We could have watched them make those cheap-ass decisions on camera and then criticize them for it and use the audio of it. We won't get that option now.
No, not at all. They definitely are the most intriguing offseason in the NFL. As we're seeing, T. Higgins tweeted out after it was announced that he was tagged. Just tagged.
Oh, my gosh.
Low caps. Not all caps. Low caps. He is fed up of not getting what he thinks he deserves at the position that he plays.
Bro.
And then on the other side, Jamar Chase is allegedly, as we talked about yesterday, going to get the richest, highest-paid contract for a non-quarterback, best in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So you have the haves and the have-nots in the same organization, in the same position, playing on the same team.
And it's just not a good sign. It's not a good signaling to the rest of your locker room that you broke all the rules for Joe Burrow, and not only did you sign him early, because they never signed people earlier than they need to, but they did do it with Joe Burrow. They also guaranteed him money past the second year, which they don't do for any other player as well. And for Jamar Chase, they said, as spectacular as you are, and everybody can agree, Jamar Chase is a better receiver than Joe Burrow is a better quarterback. Like, he's higher on that ranking than Joey B is as a quarterback. It's not really an argument, right?
I think you say Jamar Chase is top 3, Joe Burrow is not top 3.
Right. And that's, that should be consensus. There's some Bengals fans that might fight back. I don't care. I really don't care. Who dey? If you're the Bengals and you not only relegate to Jamar Chase to being someone who is beneath the stature of Joe Burrow and how we're going to prioritize paying him, we're going to wait, and then maybe we're going to get it done. They still haven't gotten this deal done, but they said they will. How do you feel if you're T. Higgins, who has proved it year after year as well, who is literally could be a $30 million a year receiver on the market, who has given his all to this franchise, has showed up, has played big, and has been a key instrumental piece of that offense? Not only can you not get an extension, they just keep tagging your ass. Like, that has to feel like all of this work, all this effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, everything I'm doing to try and push the needle forward for this organization, it's all going on deaf ears. Why would I keep on doing it? He can't wait to get his ass out of Cincinnati, and I don't blame him.
Oh, yeah, he's on Zillow every single night before he goes to bed. He rolls over and checks out properties maybe in New England. Maybe he checks properties maybe even in Kansas City. T. Higgins wants to get out of Cincinnati and as soon as possible.
Rent, not buy. And here goes some breaking news right here, and appreciate our guy Jalen. He just shot this over to me. He was talking some trash in the chat. I'll get to his golf swing because Jalen, our guy here, theoretically speaking, in the YouTube chat, I did golf with him over the weekend, him and his pops, Bernard Gilkey, and a pro Xavier out at Martin Downs Golf Club. And I will tell you, C-Cat, Jalen smoked me. I almost birdied the first hole, and everybody got nervous, and then he smoked me the rest of the way. It's pretty good.
I will say that's not anything to say about Jalen. It's more to say about you.
He's got a good swing. You're right. And I stink. I stink right now, but I took all the football season off. I will be back on the golf course getting it right very soon. Here is some breaking news here coming out of Philadelphia.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire. If your vehicle has issues with braking or other issues, get it fixed right now at St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
It's crazy, people. As we're talking about how the Bengals are being cheap and they would be the perfect offseason Hard Knocks team because they don't pay their guys. Not only do they not pay their guys, they keep tagging them and devaluing them. Breaking news is coming from the Pat McAfee show, the first place I've seen it at least. Saquon Barkley has signed a massive 2-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. $20.6 million average per year. $36 million guaranteed at signing, and $15 million available in incentives for him to rack it up. This at $20 a year, clearly the number one running back contract, in the NFL. And I do think this is going to reset the stage for what running backs are going to be able to negotiate for. The return of the running back and the year of the running back in the NFL and in college football is being culminated with a franchise that does it right and does it early, time after time. They're punctuating it by paying a guy. Not a guy that's a franchise, a mainstay. Not a guy that is our own. We drafted him. We've been with 10, 20 years. No. They just got this dude in free agency last year, and 1 year in, they're already retooling his deal. The Eagles are a great organization. The Bengals absolutely suck.
Yeah, you're right. They do it right often, and they do it early often. That's positively, and they punish early as well. Like Doug Peterson, a couple years after winning a Super Bowl, bringing a Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles, which many thought was impossible, would never be done. He did that, but when he didn't produce a couple years after it, he's out the door. First plane out of Philadelphia, and in the positive light here with Saquon Barkley. Like, hey, and Jalen Hurts as well.
Yeah, they got him done early.
With them earlier rather than later, which I got to applaud. They pick their guys, and they take their shots, measured shots. I think the Packers took a shot on Jordan Love a little bit too early. We're only 1 year into that contract. It's not looking good right now, but we'll see how that ends up. But the Eagles have hit and hit and hit.
Yeah. Howie Roseman clearly is in a class of his own when it comes to being a general manager in the NFL today. There's other guys that are really good that I respect. I mean, I'm a Chiefs fan. Brett Veach has been immaculate in the draft and getting guys on these rookie contracts that are able to perform excellently early, but he's kind of got a cheat code. He's got Patrick Mahomes. It's easier to be a GM when you got a guy like Mahomes. Hurts is great. He ain't Mahomes, and Howie Roseman continues to make excellent deals. He needs to write a book and start teaching some of these GMs around the National Football League on how you execute. And I can't say that without inextricably tying it to the ownership of the Eagles, which empowers Howie to be able to act this way, right? Like, this is an investment from ownership, too. This is a lot of money they're having to fork over earlier than they would need to, whereas if the Bengals GM or acting GM or whatever, he has a different title over there with the Cincinnati. If he tried to pull something like this off to reward a player for excellence, for bringing them to a Super Bowl, for them being a key cog for their offense or defense, they would get a hard no. And that's why they should be on Hard Knocks, so we can watch the Bengals GM fight for his guys to get contracts or whatnot, and the owner, the Browns, rein in on that parade.
Yeah, so Saquon essentially gets a raise. He had a 3-year, $37.75 million deal as a free agent going to the Eagles last offseason, where he was making a little hair over $12.5 million per year. And now, as you saw, gets about $20.6 million per year for 2 more years.
Matter of fact, put them on Hard Knocks. I want to watch a competent franchise. I want to watch people doing it the right way. Like, we can take some notes on Howie Roseman and how they do things over there with the Lauries and whatnot. Like, show me how it's done so other people can take notes as well. But that is, again, my number one team I'd like to see on Hard Knocks is the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's because of the drama, because of the dysfunction, and because, well, right now, NFL Films, Max, you ain't got no other option. Bill Belichick said, you ain't pulling up on me. Maybe pull up on Cincinnati. Who they to deny you? You get it? Because of who they? Thank you. Which NFL team is the most intriguing to you this offseason? Who would you be most locked into if you were able to be a fly on the wall and get a offseason Hard Knocks out of that squad? To me, it's the Bengals. You let us know in the